Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the TalkingWithHeroes.com, and thank you for your service.us program. We're here still in San Antonio, Texas, at San Pedro Presbyterian Church. They were very kind to let us have this meeting here with military support groups, with some veterans, USAA, and we're here with another organization. Not only have I had the honor and privilege of doing video programs with both of you all, but you actually had me on one of your tables last year. I'd love to do that today. So, but for people that haven't heard of you before, if you could each introduce yourself, tell a little bit about yourself, and what led you to vettrip.org.
I'm Bob Deschner. I'm co-founder, and my dad was a Navy corpsman at the end of World War II, and I was always looking for an opportunity to serve. And after a long career as an entrepreneur and a scientist, I came into working with veterans, and my co-founder and partner is Dottie Goodwin.
Hello, I'm Dottie. My dad served in Germany towards the end of World War II. He was a combat veteran, an infantryman, and the Army kept him in Germany for a while after the war to open up some of the concentration camps. So he was a liberator, had some symptoms of PTSD that I didn't understand until many years later. But it gave me, at some point, an understanding and a desire to help veterans and service members. So that's what VetTrip does. VetTrip stands for Veterans Team Recovery Integrative Immersion Process. We serve veterans and service members, also their families and caregivers. Our goal is to help them with their symptoms of post-traumatic stress and chronic pain and get them on a road to recovery so that they have very healthy and happy and productive lives. And it's an honor to work with them.
So how long has it been since you started VetTrip?
We started in Austin, Texas in 2009 with kind of a pilot program with the help of the Austin VA Mental Health Clinic and many volunteers there who got together with us, and they helped us form a program for bringing in veterans with the chronic pain and post-traumatic stress for some time to learn things they can do for themselves, some techniques for handling the symptoms. But we also have massage tables set up so that they have a time to relax and just be taken care of with therapeutic massage, energy work called Reiki and Qigong, some gentle chiropractic adjustments, acupuncture. We have aromatherapy. We do many things to help them along their path. We have relaxing music. We have a lot of big hearts of volunteers and others who just want to help veterans. So it's a well-orchestrated program. There's stages to this. The stage one is what I described there, where they're learning some things and spending 2.5 hours on a massage table for receiving all these services. They can have those sessions 3 to 6 times, and those with the most severe symptoms can have more. That's the stage one. Then stage two is where we teach them more things they can do with energy techniques. We have classes in Qigong and relaxing breathing where they learn all kinds of techniques they can do for themselves and share with friends and other family members at home. We serve lunch and encourage some healthy eating habits, and we just do a lot of sharing. There's a lot of good camaraderie. It's a great time. And then recently we've gotten some funding to start stage 3, which will be weekly classes where they can come together again for that camaraderie factor. But these will be weekly yoga, and we hope some Qigong and meditation classes. We'll see where that goes, but we're excited to be able to offer that in 2018.
So you have some things you'd like to show people here, right?
Well, we can show them a massage table, but this is what it looks like. We'll set up, in this particular room, we'll set up 16 massage tables, and they'll come in groups of 8. So you'll get your own massage table, you're fully clothed, you'll be draped under a comforter like this, so it's nice and warm. And the idea is that we move around and deliver the services around the veterans. They don't have to get up. Once they're relaxed, we want them to stay relaxed. And it's a real compliment to us and our staff when somebody falls asleep, because that means that they're really relaxed. we have some data now, and we have a poster session we did over here with the University of Texas Health San Antonio, which is the medical school here, and we were working with Dr. Danette Bloom, who is the Assistant Chair of Nursing at the School of Nursing. And what's really neat about it is she looked at our data and set it up with a statistical analysis and showed that the pain levels dropped over 3 points on a 0 to 10 scale, where 10's max, and the average intake was around 6. It dropped 3 points, which meant that they're coming out below 2 or below 3 on stress and pain. The stress also dropped a little over 3 points. So it's statistically significant. It shows that we're getting to the relaxation, and they also liked all the things we did. The preference rating was 4.4 to 4.8, which was very high as well. The reason this is important is not that we do everything for veterans. We kind of work in combination with what the VA and the DoD and the vet centers do. The best treatment for PTSD is counseling, like a prolonged exposure therapy or cognitive processing therapy. But it's tough emotionally to go through that 9 to 12 sessions, and a lot of people will avoid it. About 50% of the people don't want to participate, and those that sign up, about 50% drop out. So you may have 60 to 80% of the people that complete the program getting results, but they can't stay in there to get those results. And what we're seeing is our veterans are telling them that between sessions for counseling, they come to Vet Trip and get relaxed and feel better and recover. And we recently saw a report from Fort Hood, the Warrior Combat Stress Reset Program. Jerry Wesh founded that program and implemented and directed that program, and he actually helped us build our program here at Vet Trip. So they worked with 1,400 soldiers with military PTSD over a 6.5, 7-year period, and they had a dropout rate of 10 soldiers out of 1,400. The very fact that he was doing cognitive processing therapy, which is really tough, but he was doing it in conjunction with Reiki, massage, and acupuncture, just like we do, shows that there's a potential of keeping the veterans in the program so they get the results. And that's why, one, we have a massive number of our veterans are referrals from staff at the VA, at DoD facilities, and at vet centers. And the second thing is that veterans vote with their feet. We have a 5-month wait list. And that's our biggest challenge, because it's tough to tell somebody that calls you up and he says, I'm 8, 9, or 10 on pain and stress. And we say, well, it's going to be a couple of months before you get you in. With funding, with additional funding, we can double our capacity and address that and handle that. And so that's been our big push this last year. We want to be able to double our capacity this next year, take care of the wait list, get it down to a more manageable 1 to 2 weeks, and serve our veterans that need it. We also serve, besides the veterans and service members, we serve their spouses and caregivers, because we think that's really important as well.
So when people go to your website, it's vet, T-R-I-I-P, double I, right? P.org.
2 I's and vettrip.org.
Okay, okay. What do they look for? Is there any particular links to contact you, or?
Well, we're working on our website, but if you'll go to the IIP sessions, that's the Integrative Immersion Process Sessions, IIP, go to that tab, send us the contact information, and we'll have somebody get an email to you in the first 48 hours. And then we'll set up a time when we can get the information to you that you can fill out and start getting in the system and get in the queue. And that's the best way to do it. That's also the best way for those who want to make donations. There's a Donate Now button at the top of the page, and they can just click on that and make an online donation at any time.
And it's 100% tax deductible.
We are a 501c3, and they can deduct it to the extent that the tax laws allow you to do it, which means, yes, you can deduct it. But it's been amazing to see the staff that we have that have come together. The first 3 years, we were 100% volunteer staff. They literally put in 10, 15,000 hours of services. We're now up to 65,000 hours of donated time by chiropractors, acupuncturists, massage therapists, energy workers, veteran peers, and others that have just come together to serve veterans that need it and can benefit from it. And then in the last 3 years, we've had part-time staff that come in and lead the programs and make sure everything's done well. They're the ones that are experienced. They'll have 500 to several thousand hours of services donated anyway. as well. So what we need to grow is money to pay staff and expand, and it's as simple as that. We put hands on people, and we deliver 4 times the amount of services that we get paid for. So our budget last year was $150,000. We delivered over $600,000 in services. And we don't charge the veterans, service members, anybody. They get on the table, it's all free. We figured they'd already earned it. They've already paid for it.
When you said hands-on, I was reflecting back to when I was on the table, and it was just so peaceful, and I felt like I was sinking almost into the table, but then I also felt all these different hands. It's like, okay, who's that? Thinking to myself. So, and then my brother, Ted, went, and I remember Ted calling me from his car. I don't remember if it was the first trip or second trip that you went over there, but you said you really felt the difference, you know, so really appreciate that. Anything else you want to share with people?
One of our greatest joys that we didn't anticipate was as the veterans would complete our program, they wanted to volunteer to help give back to more veterans. So some of our volunteers are veterans. We call them vet peers, and they greet the veterans as they come into the program, and they're part of the outtake system where they finish up their paperwork and they have some time just to talk and kind of come back down to earth. We have to make sure they're safe enough to drive home. But that's where a lot of conversation happens. Some veterans who have never shared anything find that they can feel comfortable talking to one of our veteran peers, somebody who's already been through the program and is here just to be that veteran that will listen. We don't do counseling, but we do a lot of listening, a lot of encouragement for healthier lifestyles and coming back and just staying on the journey and you know, really accomplishing a lot. So it's wonderful to see veterans who want to give back, who've made great strides in their own journey, but they want to be part of our family, and that's really rewarding for all of us.
I think the people I want to most acknowledge, besides the veterans and their families, I can hardly imagine what it's like to be deployed and have children back home. And seeing Comfort Crew and some of these other organizations that support the family is so critical. But to acknowledge that the staff at the VA and the DOD facilities, the hospitals, the clinics, the vet centers, those are the people that do the heavy lifting. I like to say they'd give you your left arm because they've already given you the right arm. They're overworked, they're overpaid, and they have a sincere desire to help veterans. And it's tough because they're overwhelmed with the number of veterans coming back from wars right now, and the veterans that are coming back from Vietnam 30, 40, 50 years later and having challenges. So they do the heavy lifting. We could not exist without them doing that heavy lifting, but we work with them because they send them to us to do what we do, and then we send them back to them to do what they do. So it's a really good cooperation. And I also want to thank our incredible staff. We've had literally hundreds of volunteers that have come forward and given their time and talents and their experience to make this happen and get the results we're getting. And I also want to think about some donors that have been incredible in supporting this program because we couldn't survive without it. So thank you all for your service, and thank you all for helping us help veterans.
Great. So before we close this program, would you like to, both of you, give a shout out to our troops?
That was my shout out.
That was your shout out? Okay.
Yeah, go out there and be safe and come home safe, and we'll be here when you get here.
And you are very, very important to this country and all of us who live here and cherish freedom.
Well, it's great meeting you both again. Hopefully we can do something like this again sometime down the road.
Sure.
It'd be great. And thank you for what you did, all the work you put into securing this church. Actually, you had 3 churches when they found out about this that said they would like to host it.
Sure.
Yeah. And the pastor of this church?
There's no ends of churches and congregations that want to help veterans. They just don't quite know how to do it. We've been working with several Presbyterian churches, San Pedro Presbyterian Church, Grace Presbyterian Church, and St. Andrew Presbyterian Church. We work with Unity of New Braunfels in New Braunfels, and we have the Interfaith Samaritan Counseling Center in Houston, which is associated with the churches there, that give us free access to their services. They turn the keys over to us and say, here it is. And we're in and out in 10 hours. So, yeah, that has been incredible to have that kind of support. But we're Texas. Texas people love their veterans and their service members and their families, and I'm just blown away by the number of people here in Texas that want to help.
That's great. Well, thank you very much for what you both do.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you. I don't think we could have put this together without you. I know I called Angela first, and then the suggestion was, well, Bob's in San Antonio. Is Angela there?
Yes.
And yeah, she pushed it on me, and so I appreciate it. You just jumped right on this. I appreciate it.
Well, Pastor Calvin Reynolds is the minister here. He's a retired Navy chaplain, and he just opens the doors and says yes to about everything we ask for. So you couldn't have better support than that. And so he and his congregation have been whole hog behind all of this.
Great. Thank you very much. Well, folks, once again, you've been listening on TalkingWithHeroes.com. Check out our new nonprofit, thankyoufforyourservice.us. Again, to all of our men and women who are deployed, being deployed, we look forward to you coming back home soon. Be safe, stay alert. To all our first responders, thank you for what you do all across America. And God bless you. God bless America.